Kjære lyttere og seere, velkommen til Radio Oslo podcast. Mitt navn Laila Meldheim, og i dag så har vi en spesiell gjest med oss. Det Nontobeko Kolstad. Hun journalist. Hun også mote- og hudentusiast, som skal fortelle og gi oss noen gode råd om hvordan hun kan drive en virksomhet og inspirere forhåpentligvis dere seere og lyttere til å gjøre kanskje noe dere også drømmer om. Welcome to Oslo, Nontobeko Kolstad, to Radio Oslo podcast. I'm so lucky to have you here with us today. And how do you feel about coming here?
Well, thank you so much for having me on this amazing Radio Oslo podcast. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today. And it was not really hard to get here. I've enjoyed today, so I'm excited about our conversation today.
That's nice. We have a lot of viewers and listeners who could have a good useful of your advice. But first of all, you are a journalist.
That's right.
And you are also a fashion and skin editor.
Right.
And I want to ask you a little bit, why did you want to become a journalist?
When I was very young, I just always knew that there was power in journalism. Growing up at home, you see people watch news. We all gather around the TV and we are listening to the news, and these people are so powerful. They are able to literally influence the world for the good or for worse. But one of the things was that I knew that journalism was such a powerful tool to influence people and to form community or build communities. And so I've always wanted to be part of that good part of journalism that is just gives people good news or tell the people the truth and bring the world into our little homes. So that was why I wanted to be a journalist.
Yeah, I think that's very good motivation for what you said, is that telling people the truth.
Right.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, journalism is not the same as it was back in the day. When I was in journalism school, there were like ethics that came with journalism, reporting the truth, bringing the information that was respected, honorable, but also true to the public so they know what's happening around them. And now I know that it has been used also for bad. It's been used to divide the countries. It's been used, for other political agendas. So, there's pros and cons of journalism. But my hope, and at least the thing that inspired me about journalism, was able to tell global stories, being able to share, world news with people that otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity to travel the world and see. So taking the world from one place and sharing it with the audience of people who, again, would not have an opportunity to experience that world. So journalism, in a way, has always been, for me, a way that we can make this big world a little smaller.
Yeah. You are from actually South Africa.
That's
but
right.
You're also from Tennessee in the United States, and now you live in Norway.
Right.
What would you say is your force, since you've been from so different cultures and countries? What is your force for being a journalist? Or tell me a little bit about the journey.
Okay, ask that question again.
What is your force as a journalist, since you have seen cultures in the different countries and all over the actually world?
Right. I always tell people that I'm South African American because I feel like I belong in both those cultures, and I now have come to love both of them. But having grown up in South Africa and have also grown up in the United States, if you may, and now have living in Oslo, in Norway, these are all three different cultures that have influenced me to become who I am. There are drastic differences, but there are so many things that are also the same. I would say that, as a journalist, really it has helped me have an open mind and to see that people are actually more alike than they are not. and to see that like the things that we truly care about as a people is the same things, even though we can be from different ethnicities, we can be from different cultures, we can speak different languages. On the external things, it may look like we are different and that we want different things, but internally what we all want is have a good life, have a family, have support, have someone we love, have a life that we can be proud of, and also have a community around us.
So that's the similar things that you have discovered that you think that it's important.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think community is important. I think, I think that like you can want it, and I think that is not necessarily the same, but it's like at the core of humanity, this is probably what we want, and this is what we want, I believe. But do we get it? Do we know this is what we want? Because it's not the same. Like the culture in South Africa is very warm and welcoming. When you are walking on the streets, South Africans, they will nod to acknowledge you. There's a sense of, I see you, you've entered the room, hi, I don't know you, but I acknowledge your presence. Hi, you make an eye contact with the person, you smile, you don't have to just pass them, but you still acknowledge that you've passed someone, as opposed to, in the United States, it may be a little bit more toned down than the South Africa, but there's still a little bit of that, especially in the South. Tennessee, they start saying that we've got the Southern hospitality. So, but in Norway, it's completely different. In Norway, in my experience, has been that like people are more internal people. They are more maybe reserved in to say the word, so you don't see them interact with people like outside. They don't make eye contact with the person. I think if somebody makes an eye contact with me in Norway, I instantly assume that I must know them from somewhere, because it's not common. While in South Africa, you make eye contact with someone, you don't have to know them, it just is. That's how it is. So I don't know, the community part of it is very, very, very different, and I think, there's something there that could be done about that, because community is so big, to me at least.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about, do you have a memory, childhood memory, or something that has given you inspiration,
right,
for keep going?
Right. When I was 19 years old, I was in college, and my dad, I was basically a daddy's girl, so my father passed away during this time. And I think, we know that South Africa is a developing country, just like they have their own struggles, like many countries in the world. And there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of teenage pregnancies, there's a lot of that goes on. So I was very lucky to have a dad who actually was very successful as a civil engineer, and he taught me how to be independent and how to go out after the things that I wanted. But at the same time, when he passed away, it was nice to have the support of my community. My uncle took on that role to make sure that I also didn't fall into becoming that statistics. So I learned from early on that for success and for you to be able to do life, you need people to propel and push you forward. And so that's why I think it's nice to have community, and this is where my sense of community has become one of those things that are very important to me.
Because that you felt the
I
community.
felt the community, yes, I felt,
region.
yeah, I absolutely felt it. I felt, the support, even if it was not necessarily always financial support, emotional support, someone checking up on you and making sure that you were okay, and having still a father figure after my own father had passed away, that all of these things were important. And growing up, having to go to college, in school, at work, you do better when you have friends around you that can be in the journey with you. And I will add that, like in the United States, and I'm not sure about Norway per se, because I've only been here for 8 months, but I think that a lot of people that could have mental health problems, some of them could be avoided by just having a community, human contact, someone that cares for you, someone that you are in a group of people that are always available for you. And I think that it really helps, that really helps a lot in communities to foster the belonging, the sense of belonging and the sense of community.
What is your opinion about, what do you think is the most wrong idea about immigrants?
Oh,
Do you have any,
well, I think
opinion about that?
yeah, absolutely. I think that having lived in South Africa, we have immigrants. I was born there, and we have immigrants from all over the world. You know, South Africa is a very big and progressive African country, so we get a lot of immigrants there. Having moved to the United States myself and became an immigrant, and even though I'm a citizen and I have a community and family, but I'm still wasn't born there. And now, having come to Norway, I see that there is a very big misconception about people that are immigrants or expats. Is that people seem to think that, you know, maybe they are just looking for handouts. Like, these are people that are just here trying to get help. And it is so amazing to me how much resources that a lot of immigrants have. You know, you have doctors here, you've got medical professionals, engineers, you've got lawyers that are driving your taxi when you go to work. And you don't realize how much investment and how much time and education they have in their own countries. But because of, unfortunately, the resources, how they are mismanaged in their own countries, they've had to flee because of war. They have had to literally live their whole lives to start afresh and abandon all the investments that they have done. And I think that is a very impactful, if you can put yourself in someone's shoes and think, if your child, you had to pay for them to go to medical school and they had to leave and go to a different country and end up just having to get a job at the gas station, that sometimes becomes a waste in different countries. And I have found this. I have a friend of mine, thankfully I studied journalism, and I think it's a job that is adaptive. You can work in different countries. But I have a friend of mine that is a civil engineer as well, actually, and she moved to the United States. And actually I have two. One of them, I met her in the United States, but this one we moved around the same time, and she was a partner in her firm in South Africa, and after moving to the United States had to go back to the elementary basic job, entry-level job, so she can get certification. While that is nice because at least she can grow from there, but the resources that she had, you know, could have been used if you recognize that she is well educated and she's put in the time. But in medical, it's even harder. Like the friend that I'm talking about, I met her, she's a stay-at-home mom, because having to immigrate to a different country means that you have to start afresh from the bottom for you to even be recognized. You can't even work as a nurse because it's not the same. And I think that is a gross mishandling of, honestly, the resources that a lot of migrants have, because there is a need for them. If you have a country like Norway that has a lot of immigrants from Pakistani and have a lot of immigrants from Sudan, and they have doctors in their communities, it could be good to cultivate those resources for people to be able to use them as they understand each other's cultures and backgrounds and,
so that
and
could
things
make
that
actually the society grow even stronger,
even better. Exactly.
and we can have a lot more common understandable situations for each other.
Absolutely. You know, if you go to a doctor and you try to explain what's going on with you and they don't really understand, or like, you know, for example, like people that have different religions, it's nice if they can go to a doctor that's also Muslim as well, that's going to understand the culture, understand the conservative part of like analyzing a woman, you know, and prefer going to so it's nice when you can put someone that can be trusted. And this is the thing, it's not like you can't trust someone else. I go to any doctor, but that's like I'm me. But other people who might feel better going to a doctor that looks like them, and I think, or that speaks their language or understands their background, especially when it comes to mental health, with therapists that understand like where these people came from.
So we're talking about different cultures, and you like to bring people together. I get that impression. Is that right? Or
Yes, I mean, I think that I like community, but I think it's not like I like to get people together. It's that I understand that people need to be together. There's
Yeah.
a need for one another, there's a quote that says that it's an African quote that's like one hand washes the other. But I think also Martin Luther King said that when one of us is oppressed, we are all oppressed. So that means that everything that happens to each and everyone, even in our communities, it does affect us. It affects all of us. We may not feel like it affects us, but it does, on a broader scale. So we are more connected than we think we are. So I think that people maybe could recognize that, and I think that like having traveled and have lived in different continents, really, with different cultures, has taught me that you don't know what you don't know. But it has also taught me not to be judgmental. Don't be too quick to judge because you don't know. And unless you live in that community and know what is going on in that community, you don't know. So it has taught me that we are more alike, and that everybody, I don't know how to say this, but like we are more alike than not, and we need each other. So we are more connected than we think.
So we are stronger
Together.
Yeah. And that brings me over to that you have a strong force.
Right.
I have observed that you have now launched your new magazine.
That's right, yeah.
And you're writing about skin, beauty, fashion.
Right.
And you just came to Norway
Right.
just a few months ago, and now you're launching your magazine. I need to ask you about why fashion, why skin, why beauty?
Okay, so first it was beauty because when I was younger I had really oily skin. Thankfully I wasn't necessarily breaking out, but it was oily and I didn't like that. And so my mom did put me in a skincare regimen from when I was I started having like a 3-step, and so I started to be interested in skincare, at least in having a regimen at that time. Then when I grew and I became a journalist, I realized that this is something that women like. It was fun to learn, it was fun to enjoy. It was enjoyable, and it's something that I liked, it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to use makeup, but I was interested in this revolutionary way of women improving themselves. So I then studied skincare as well after studying journalism, because I wanted to focus on that. I wanted to write about beauty, but I didn't want to write it as just like a blogger that got the stuff from the internet. I really wanted to understand the scientific
Because what you said when you were younger, like 14 years old, and you felt that your skin wasn't good enough, it does something with the self-esteem.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, of course, because you look at yourself in the mirror and you see something you don't like, and so you want to change it. And I think beauty and makeup has actually provided women a place to express themselves, to at least enhance and create the look they feel comfortable and confident looking at. When they look at themselves in the mirror. It's a life-changing really industry, and I like it for us.
And do you have any advice for like ethnical skin, like skin products? Because when I was like 14 years old, it took me back when you said it, I had only like Norwegian friends, and from the school I went to, it was only me and another girl that was brown skin.
Right.
So when we went to start using an experimental a little bit about the makeup, I couldn't find foundation that actually had my tone.
Right, and even still to this day, still to this day, it's still very hard to find products that are accommodate all types of dark shades, because we have a lot of shades. But I think that's an opportunity for a minority person, an immigrant somewhere who's passionate about beauty, to say, you know what, I can't find what I'm looking for, so I'm going to create it. It's the same like how I started my magazine as well, is that very reason. It's like, I want to read, I'm a journalist, I want to read. I don't understand yet Norwegian, but I really want to read, and there is not a lot of resources for me to read the stuff that I want to read, so now I'm going to create it. And I think that's an opportunity right there for someone who is here and thinking, maybe then you create it, because then there's a lot of girls like you that are out there that are feeling the same way when they go to the store. They have to order it from a different country. They have to order from Sweden at Sephora, or you have to order it from the UK or buy it in the USA. So this is a chance.
Yeah, it is. Do you have any advice for some good products which are affordable and you can recommend?
Well, I would say that we'll just go with the affordable. My favorite affordable one will be The Ordinary. I think that they create really nice products, and
that's the Canadian brand, right?
It is Canadian, yes.
Yeah, I've tested it. It's good. It's on the H&M. You can get it.
Yes, exactly, and it's really, really affordable. And it's not just affordable because there are so many other products that people like there are so many others that I want, because I'm not going to speak badly of someone's business.
Yeah.
But there are products that are affordable but don't really do anything for you. So I advocate for products that will actually do something for you. And I feel like The Ordinary can really compete with some of the luxury expensive brand because of the formula that they have. You get chemical peels, that are really safe. You can do at home. Please make sure that you read the process before you do that, but also you get really product that actually work and treat your skin at a very affordable price. So I would say that The Ordinary is one of my favorite most affordable skincare line. And then I will also say that the Garnier products are also very nice. Not sure if I'm saying the word correctly, but it's a Garnier that skincare line. They've got a really nice makeup remover cleanser combination, and they've got really nice moisturizers, and I found that is actually very effective, and it's one of the products that I actually used when I was younger, and everybody used to compliment my skin because I could just see that it is actually working, and it's affordable.
Share more of this advice in your Scandi magazine?
Yeah, absolutely. That's all I'm gonna share from high-low fashion. I'm for both. So if you want luxury fashion, that's what we're gonna be talking about. For people that are like, I like my expensive, very, this is what I like, and then also affordable, but that works, not just for the sake of sharing, something that people can actually find value in.
I was thinking that you just launched this magazine now, and what is you're also a businesswoman,
right?
What is your actually advice for our listeners and viewers who has dreams but probably hasn't got it out yet? What is, do you have any advice for them?
Just do it. That's it. Let's do it.
Is that easy?
Yeah. Well, because you are the only one that's standing in front of your way. Let's do it. Like a lot of people, I feel they are afraid of failing. And in the USA, I have investment properties, which is so different than, it's out of my league in terms of, I'm a journalist. I don't know anything about real estate, really. But I have educated myself, gotten around people that are in real estate, and taught myself to be able to do that. Was I scared? I remember the first time when I signed for the keys and how nervous I was like. And I said, this better work. And then I got the second one and the third one. And I have them, I'm here, but it's there. You have to start. You have to start, even if you are scared, and you will fail. This is a guarantee. Every single successful person that you have ever met, all the books that I've read about all the millionaires or all the people that have started something have failed at some point at the same thing that they are now successful at, but if you find out what happened is that they chose not to give up, go file for bankruptcy and start again. They've said that, but now you have more experience. So being afraid to fail is really just, you are afraid of something that will ultimately happen, but you can, at least if you are prepared, or you can educate yourself to prevent some of the mistakes. But even if you do fail, prefer that if I fail, I will start again don't give
So
up.
failure is actually, you get more experience
Yeah,
to be better.
it's a stepping stone. It's experience. And like I said, if you don't have mentors, if you can get a mentor, someone that can show you how to do something, then great for you. Then you don't have to repeat the same mistakes. But if you don't, still do it and say to yourself, if I fail, I'm gonna not give up. I'm gonna do it again, you know.
And the best thing that could happen is that you actually succeed.
You did, yeah, that's the best thing. And you know, I think that's the approach that I have, is that, okay, I have a vision, I want to bring it to realize this vision. I'm gonna give it my all based on the information that I have now. But during the process of starting that business and working at it, you're getting information. So if you fail, you are starting even in a better space than you started before, because you have more information now, and you have probably, hopefully, more resources, and you can do better, and you can prepare yourself. You can see, okay, this is what caused me to fail. Now I'm not doing that.
Okay.
And yeah, so just do it.
Thank you very much, Nontobeko, for coming and giving such a good advice and share a little bit about your journey into where you are today.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on this amazing podcast. Yeah, and you guys are doing such an amazing job for the community here. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Kjære lyttere og seere, tusen takk for at dere så på Radio Oslo Podcast. Neste uke skal vi ha en tematikk som handler om ungt utenforskap. Følg oss gjerne på Instagram og på YouTube, og takk for at dere så på Radio Oslo Podcast.